Welcome back, Rugbyhub viewers. First of all, thank you so much for all the support last week, all the comments. We love it. Hopefully, you can do the same this week. It's finale. It's the last weekend of the Six Nations. Can't believe it. Goran, lovely to see you. I mean, this weekend, it's all to play for. Obviously, going into the weekend, Ireland is definitely the favorites. They just need to beat England on Sunday, which doesn't seem like such a tough task, especially considering it's in Dublin and England's not in the best shape right now. So, I
Mm,
mean, yeah, France can also win it if Ireland goes down. Something needs to
mm.
happen as well there. And obviously for Scotland to win the Six Nations, I mean, we really need
It's a
to see a
tough one.
miracle. I mean, we need to
Yeah,
see a miracle happening there. You never say
yeah,
never, can still happen.
yeah.
But yeah, Gweri, let's just take a second to quickly digest what happened last weekend. Well, first of all, welcome. Lovely to see you.
Well, Gabs, yeah, thank you. A second to digest. At least we've had at least a few days to digest, and thank goodness because it's been epic. All right. Obviously, like you mentioned, not a great time to be an English fan. They got hammered by the French, and the French looked very good while they were doing it. So we'll touch base on English
Yeah,
progression a little bit later, and then obviously in that Italian Wales game. Obviously, the Italians wanted to replicate what they did last season. They had a good opportunity again this year. I mean, doing it at home in Rome. Unfortunately, they couldn't do it. The Welsh were too strong,
yeah.
even though they had their opportunities. So, I mean, they, like I think you said it to me prior to this call, that I mean, they played the occasion rather than the rugby itself against Wales. I mean, that's what Lamora said at least, and Kieran Crowley wasn't too happy about the referee decisions
Yeah.
either. And then obviously the Irish just being too strong for the Scots,
Once again,
just showing
nothing new.
once again what a class act they
Yeah.
are, Gabsy. So heading into this final week, it's excitement. I mean, it's sad, obviously, but first game coming up, it's already a belter.
Yeah, so Scotland playing Italy
Yeah.
at Murrayfield. And yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be a huge game. So, I mean, for Scotland, you see a couple of changes. You actually see
Mm,
some key players being injured, with that being Finn Russell missing out this week. And you see Blair Kinghorn coming in there. And then obviously, I think if you've read the news, you will also see that obviously the danger man, Stuart Hogg, is out. He was actually looking
yeah.
pretty good at the moment. And then you also see Hamish
Mm,
Watson coming in and Sam Skinner coming in. So four key changes there. I mean, I do think actually for Scotland, they could see this as a positive. They haven't really
mm,
fielded a lot of different players in the Six Nations. And normally they would use the opportunity against Italy to at least test their depth, especially in a World Cup year where you're in such a tough pool. So, I mean, here they get the chance to test their depth a bit. Nevertheless, I think it's a very strong team they're playing. Like you said, I think Italy will be still, really hungry for a victory. I mean, they've shown they can
mm.
do it away from home last year. Can they do it against a very strong Scotland team? I think Scotland, they've actually played a tremendous tournament throughout.
Yeah.
Yes, they couldn't beat Ireland in Ireland or France in France, but nevertheless, they can be really
Mm,
pleased with what they've achieved this year. They played some consistent
absolutely.
rugby and they've been looking really good. So I'm definitely going to
Mm,
back Scotland at Murrayfield
mm,
on Saturday, and I think it's going to
yeah.
be a huge game. I think it's going to be an exciting game. Like two teams that's going to
Yeah.
hopefully
Yeah.
to run the ball and go at each other.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's one of those games to watch as well. It's going to be a fun game, regardless. And as you mentioned, testing the depth of the Scots is in some way a blessing in the skies because,
Exactly.
you know, when the World Cup comes around, they've got a tough pool, the Scottish, and their depth will be tested. So having those key positions out, I think, good for this game against Italy. But nevertheless, the Italians, they are angry and they're going to come for the Scots. They showed last year in the Six Nations in that final game against Wales that they can beat away. Well, they beat Wales away from home, but we don't have to remind the Welsh fans, unfortunately. But they went for a pretty consistent selection this time around. Obviously, Gorbisi still pulling the strings with Tommaso Allen at the back, no Capuozzo, yet, still injured. But Tommaso Allen did a good job. I mean, against the Welsh last week, they made enormous amounts of line breaks. They had the opportunities, they just couldn't finish.
Yeah.
So I think they're frustrated at this moment, which I think can make them dangerous. Kieran Crowley also said, I mean, that their performance, regardless of the referee's decision, wasn't good enough. So we'll see what they can bring to the Scots this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm smiling because I think the Italians can do it. And if we go head to head, which it's 8 for me, 9 for you, following last weekend's predictions, I'm going to go with Italy. And let's see who can
Yeah.
get it
I'm
done for this weekend.
I'm curious to see what's going to happen this weekend. I'm definitely backing my boys, my Scottish brothers. Next
Yeah.
game, quite a huge game as well. Obviously, France obviously have it all to play for. I mean, it's kind of out of their hands what will happen in the end of the day. But coming
Yeah.
off a W like this, at Twickenham, I definitely think that it's going to be a huge ask for a very inconsistent Wales team. I don't think Wales has found the form that they're looking for. They don't really have kind of the answers that they were hoping to get throughout the Six Nations. Honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, you do see Reece Webb still retaining that 9 jersey, obviously man of the match performance, huge game from him.
Yeah.
And then Dan
Mm.
Bigger coming back in. Unfortunately, Williams is out, so you see Reece Zammit coming in at 15. I don't know how well he will be under the high ball.
Yeah.
In general, I think it's going to be huge as for Wales to actually cause an upset,
Mm.
in France. It's a huge game. France is playing phenomenal rugby. Super, super game
Yeah.
last weekend against England. I just want to say
Mm.
that, not to take anything away from the French, like they've actually, hammered England. And a lot of people said afterwards, English fans saying, well, France were just playing excellent rugby. I mean,
Yeah.
England got hammered. I don't care if they were playing excellent rugby. At that level, at Twickenham, you shouldn't get a hammering like that. So
No.
France is really
No.
dangerous at the moment. So I don't see
Mm.
Wales going there to cause an upset. I know you get the chance
Yeah.
to pick first on this game. I'm really sad about that because that means I probably have to go for Wales, even though I think the chance of Wales winning is less than a percentage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Gabs, you said it, right? The French, I mean, yeah, it was a bit of a humiliation against the English, right? The Twickenham fans left early. It's one of the biggest margin defeats at Twickenham ever. And I think in the Six Nations, the biggest margin defeat at Twickenham against the English and obviously the French. So, but no, the French just, it was an English breakfast buffet last weekend. Their back row, Olivon, obviously Aldrit was amazing. It was, men versus boys at some stage. So I mean, they were phenomenal, and they scored some outrageous tries, with Dupont pulling the strings, and he's going to do it again this weekend. They went for a very strong team.
Yeah, he's so good,
Dante,
man. He's so good at the moment. The poor can't do
he's
anything wrong.
incredible. I mean, and having Dante in that midfield as a poacher, a threat as well, along with obviously his ball running skills and the speed that he has as a big man, with Fiku alongside him. I mean, they are looking very dangerous. Their forward pack is strong. They're dynamic. They're skillful, and I can't see, as you mentioned, I can't see Wales bringing this one through because, I mean, their defense last week, although they won the game against the Italians, their defense wasn't up
Yeah.
to scratch. And
No,
if they're going
definitely.
to leave those amounts of holes for the French to attack through, we might see another whopping. So
Yeah.
the Welsh have some things to fix, but this French side, looking very dangerous,
Very
Gabsy. So
dangerous. No, just a last special mention there. I completely forgot. Obviously, Falatau getting his 100th
yeah,
cap,
his 100th,
But
yeah.
having said that, good luck to Wales. I have to back them
Mm.
for the head-to-heads, but I definitely think France will win this one. Anyways,
Uh,
going over to the grand finale, the last game of the weekend on Sunday afternoon. Huge game, obviously.
mm,
Big question is, can England return France a favor after last weekend? Um, I don't really know if it's possible. It's in Dublin. It's Ireland, England, an Irish team that basically looks unplayable. They are playing such good rugby right now. And
mm,
then an
mm,
England side that's coming off a huge loss at home traveling to Dublin. Can they actually cause an upset is the big question. I mean, can they turn that around in 6 days?
No,
Well,
they
in a
can't.
week. Well, yeah.
They can't, unfortunately. I don't think so because I mean, okay, I'm going to be a little bit harsh on England, and I guess it's very easy to say it in hindsight, but I actually thought that England could do a job against the French. However, after I saw the team that Borthwick selected, I just didn't understand at all. It's almost like I didn't understand rugby anymore because we know that Borthwick has a specific plan. I mean, the way that he plays with Leicester and the way that he likes to have his teams play rugby. Why would you bring in Marcus Smith, playing him at 10? With the sort of dynamic, if you want to call it that, back row, and then go play helter-skelter rugby against the French. Now, it doesn't take a genius to know that you do not play helter-skelter rugby against the French because you will get hammered, and that's exactly what happened. The English weren't good enough. The decisions made by Borthwick was poor. He's a young coach, I guess. Everyone backs him, and so do I actually. But I think he slipped up last weekend. Dornbrandt's was non-existent actually. This whole Six Nations. We don't see Billy Vunipola coming back because we know that him and Borthwick don't see eye to eye. So the depth that they have in their forward pack is not what it was, and they've got a real issue at this moment. And can they beat Ireland? Unfortunately, no. I don't think so.
I
No,
mean,
they can't beat
yeah.
Ireland.
Good. On that note, just quickly looking at Ireland, they have, unfortunately, Gary Ringrose going off, in that game last weekend against Scotland. Huge knock to the head, unfortunately. But you have Fit again, Henshaw. You have Aki, of course. And I think McCloskey is also available, not 100% sure. You have enough options there for Ireland. I wouldn't be surprised to see a consistent look team. Obviously, they have to find a replacement for Ringrose, which is not easy. Considering what a key role he's played in this tournament. But
Great form.
yeah, I mean, they are just in general right now in excellent form. They're in great nick.
Yeah.
I don't really think that this England team could go and beat them. I mean, the irony is, would England actually go and beat Ireland in Dublin, cause probably the upset of the year? And let's say they beat them well enough or prevent them from getting a bonus point, and France actually, hammers Wales, France could still win the Six Nations. That's crazy to think. And
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if the French would, if the English would do the French such a favor. It's not like it's really,
Probably
something
wouldn't
they
want
would
to.
want to do this, but I don't think they really
No.
can. Anyways, that is just crazy to think, but I'm going to definitely go with Ireland for this weekend. I think they're just too strong right now. And I do think they deserve, the Grand Slam, the Six Nations, the Triple Crown. They've played phenomenal rugby. And yeah, really a big congrats to Ireland for the way they've played this whole tournament. Having said that, it's really sad. It's the last week. Thank you guys so much for the continuous support, especially the last video, all your comments. We really appreciate it. Let us know what you would like us to do after
You're not
the
even
Six
going to
Nations.
ask me who I'm supporting for that game.
I mean, you have to go with England. You don't have a choice. We know it's head to head.
I want to go for England as well. I mean, they're
Okay.
no, well, okay. Well, I mean, the English, anything can happen, Gabs.
Anything
Anything can happen in rugby. So, I mean, you never know. Come on, England.
Nah,
Let's go, boys.
No, good. I was just teasing you. But yeah, I just wanted to really take a moment to thank our fans for all the support.
Yeah.
And please let us know what you guys would like to see next. We have some exciting episodes planned between this. And maybe, we'll probably cover a bit of the knockout stages of the Heineken Cup.
Yeah.
Where we also get to talk a bit about the South African players again. Obviously, we're South African. But yeah, thank you really for the continuous support. Check out our Instagram page as well, the Rugbyhub spot. And let us know what you think. And thank you for the continuous support once again. Please keep sharing with friends and family. And Goran, thank you so much for your time. It's sad this comes to an end, but I will see you next week with something exciting.
Gabsy, thanks so much, man. And thanks, Rugby Hub viewers. Thanks for sticking with us, Six Nations. We'll see you guys soon.